And hopefully that would then motivate them to want to share with those who don't have anything to eat. So even on that physical level, where the fast is done according to the principles of the Prophet, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, then one benefits from that experience of hunger, maybe for the first time in their lives, or first occasion in the year, or whatever. They experience it and can relate to those who are experiencing it, starving around the world. Because otherwise, normally people talk about the starving millions. And it's just an idea, it's just a thought. Yes, people are starving, but what does it mean to starve? If we haven't experienced that hunger, real hunger, then it's difficult really to sympathize and be motivated to want to sacrifice for them. So here is a benefit, a real practical benefit from fasting in the correct way. Another of the benefits that come actually from the physical level of fasting, as medical experts have pointed out, that when a person fasts, it affects the endomorphin system in the body, that it causes the brain to produce more endomorphins, which are the basic elements which cause us to feel good, you know, where we feel a sense of well-being. This is from the production of endomorphins in the system. Fasting causes the body to produce more. So it is good in terms of giving a person a sense of feeling good. And again, for those people who are depressed, this is very, very important. Also, medical experts have pointed out that fasting causes the body to start to consume the cholesterols. So it reduces the level of cholesterols in our systems. And as those people who are involved in weight loss and weight gain and all these type of things, dieting and that, they know it. A lot of it is related to cholesterol. So fasting has been employed by many of the various dietary systems in order to decrease weight. In Islam, I mean, our main goal is not to decrease weight. I mean, because you shouldn't have gained weight in the first place. You know, where people have warped the practice of Ramadan, where it becomes a month of feasting instead of fasting, you find people ending the month kilos more than they started the month. Of course, that's because they've misunderstood. They're not following the principles. They're following the ritual, but not the true spiritual guiding principles in fasting. So what weight loss takes place, and there should be weight loss, what weight loss takes place is healthy weight loss. It's not fasting to an extreme where it starts to become damaging to the system, but fasting in a controlled way where it is beneficial to the system. Fasting also affects human beings on the libidinal level, where our desires for sexual relations, one of the basic drives that all human beings have, put in us for reproduction and procreation. It has a place, but where the media and the world pumps this up to the point where we break laws and we are involved in all kinds of corruption, fasting helps to gain control of this, give people a sense of control over their physical desires. And that's why the Prophet, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, had said, "O young people, those among you able to get married should get married. Those who are not able should fast, because it breaks the desire. It is a means of decreasing the sexual desire. Fasting has that effect. So a person who fasts on a regular basis, then he or she has a good handle on their life. They have control over the natural desires. So they're not driven by the natural desires into a state of animal existence. Unfortunately, this is what has happened to much of the world, where people are just driven by desires. So fasting helps to put desires back under human control, especially sexual desires, because of course we know fasting is not permitted, sexual relations is not permitted during the daylight hours of fasting. So one may have the desire, but one puts a cap on it because of the fast. And the fast helps to reduce the desire, especially the last 10 days when the Prophet, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, had recommended that we seclude ourselves in the mosques where we don't even involve, even in the nights, in sexual relations. So 1/3 of the month, we're encouraged also to leave it altogether, just for that period, to gain a greater sense of control over one's desires.
He is the maintainer.
Coming to the truth requires two things. It requires deep thinking that you've already done, but it requires another step, and that's courage. If you have the truth, but you don't have courage, you won't stand up for the truth. And that's as good as standing up for falsehood.
I would say this thing that you just told me, it's not in the scripture. And they would say, a marginal note added by a scribe, yeah, okay, we know that. And I would be thinking, if you know this is not the Bible, why are you preaching it as if it's gospel truth?
From hunger.
Fasting also has an emotional dimension. Among the biggest or greatest drives that we have in an emotional level is anger. And we express our anger by speaking ill of people, by shouting, by a variety of different ways. Fasting helps us to gain control over it. Because the Prophet, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, had said that one who doesn't control his tongue or her tongue, so that they are backbiting, telling lies, screaming, shouting, etc., then he said, God has no need for their fast. There's no reward in that fast. So if one is not able to control one's emotions during the fast, then in fact one has nullified the value of the fast. So the fast challenges us on a variety of different levels. And this emotional level is a very critical level, because isn't it where emotions go crazy, run awry, that we end up killing, hurting, screaming? A lot of the crime or the abuse or these kind of things that happen in society, it's coming from on an emotional level. People who lack control over their emotions. So fasting addresses this topic, this issue directly. If one is serious about fasting, then they must put a handle on this.
This is the Deen Show. This is the Deen Show. This is the